The stranger moved in on a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesday was trash day, and I was dragging my bins to the curb when the moving truck pulled up next door. The house had been empty for months. I'd gotten used to the silence, the dark windows, the overgrown lawn. So when I saw someone moving in, I was curious, maybe relieved. A new neighbor meant someone to share the burden of maintaining our aging suburban street. Then I saw his face. He stepped out of the truck, and I dropped my trash bin. It clattered on the driveway, spilling garbage across the concrete, but I didn't notice. I was too busy staring at the man who looked exactly like me. Not similar, not could-be brothers, similar, identical. Same height, same build, same dark hair, same scar above my left eyebrow from a childhood bike accident. He even moved like me, that slight hitch in his right leg from an old soccer injury. He saw me staring and smiled, my smile, with my crooked incisor. Then he walked over, hand extended. "I know this is going to sound crazy," he said in my voice, "but we need to talk. My name is James Holland and I'm you, from a timeline where you died 3 years ago." I should have run, should have called the police, should have done anything except what I actually did, which was shake his hand and say, "What do you mean died?" "Car accident, December 15th, 2022. You were driving home from work in the rain. Semi-truck ran a red light. Killed you instantly." He looked at me with eyes that were mirrors of mine. "But that was my timeline. In this one, you're still alive, and I'm here to make sure you stay that way." "Why?" "Because tomorrow, December 15th, 2025, exactly 3 years after my version of you died, it's going to happen again, the same accident, the same intersection, unless we stop it." I wanted to believe he was insane, some kind of delusional stalker who'd had plastic surgery to look like me. But looking at him was like looking in a mirror. Every detail was perfect, too perfect to be coincidence or cosmetic alteration. "How is this possible?" I whispered. "Quantum tunneling, parallel dimensions. I don't fully understand the science, but I found a way to cross over, to warn you, to save the version of me that still has a chance." He gripped my shoulder. "James, you have to listen to me. Tomorrow, no matter what, do not get in your car. Do not go to work. Stay home. Stay alive." Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave your like, because the ending of this story will shake you in ways you never imagined. And tell me in the comments, from which city are you watching this story? Now let's begin. I invited him inside. My wife, Rachel, was at work. I had the house to myself, and this impossible stranger who claimed to be me. "Prove it," I said. "Prove you're from another timeline." He smiled sadly. "Your mother's maiden name is Morrison. You proposed to Rachel at the lighthouse in Cape May. She said yes before you even got the words out. You have a birthmark shaped like Italy on your left hip. Your first dog was named Chester. You're allergic to shellfish, but you eat it anyway because you love crab legs. Anyone could have researched that. Those are facts. Give me something only I would know." He thought for a moment. "When you were 12, you stole $20 from your father's wallet to buy a video game. You felt so guilty that you did extra chores for weeks to pay it back without him knowing. You never told anyone, not even Rachel." My blood went cold. No one knew that. No one. "How?" "Because I did it too. Because we're the same person, James. Same memories, same experiences, same life, up until the moment I died and you didn't." I sat down heavily. "This is impossible. And yet here I am." He pulled out his wallet and showed me his driver's license. Same name, same face. But the address was different, and the issue date was from 2019. "In my timeline, I never renewed this after the accident," he explained, "because I was dead. But I kept it, as a reminder of what I lost." "Why come here? Why warn me?" "Because I've been watching, studying the patterns. The accident isn't random, it's a fixed point, something that happens across multiple timelines. I found evidence of 17 other versions of us. All died on December 15th, all the same way. That's impossible. Is it, or is it destiny? And if it's destiny, can it be changed?" He leaned forward. "That's what I'm here to find out." He showed me newspaper articles from his timeline, obituaries, photos of the crash scene, a mangled car that looked like mine, and a funeral photo where Rachel stood in black holding our daughter Emma, who was only 2 in his timeline. Emma, I whispered. She was 5 now in my timeline, bright, happy, alive. In his timeline, she'd grown up without a father. I've spent 3 years researching, he said, trying to understand why this keeps happening. I found other versions of you who survived. Most don't last long. The universe corrects itself. If you don't die in the car accident, you die some other way within a year. Heart attack, house fire, mugging gone wrong. You're saying the universe wants me dead? I'm saying there's a pattern, a convergence point, and tomorrow is the center of it. If we can get you past tomorrow, past the exact moment of the accident, maybe we break the pattern. Maybe you survive permanently. I wanted to believe this was a delusion, that I'd wake up and find it had all been a bizarre dream, but he was too real, too perfect, too me. What do I do? Stay inside, all day. Don't answer the door. Don't go anywhere. At 5:47 p.m., the exact time of my accident, you need to be as far from your car as possible. Preferably in your basement, surrounded by concrete. We create a buffer, make it physically impossible for you to be at that intersection. And if that doesn't work, then we have a bigger problem than I thought, but let's focus on getting through tomorrow first. Rachel came home at 6. I'd sent the other me, I'd started thinking of him as other James, back to his house before she arrived. How do you explain to your wife that your doppelganger from another dimension is living next door? You don't. You lie. You make excuses. You act normal. But Rachel knew something was wrong. You're pale, she said. Are you feeling okay? Just tired. Long day. Did you meet the new neighbor? Briefly, seemed nice. I couldn't tell her the truth. Not yet. Maybe not ever. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what other James had said. 17 other versions of me, all dead. A pattern, a fixed point in time. At 2 a.m. I got up and looked out my bedroom window. Other James's house was dark except for one light, his bedroom, the same room as mine, and I could see his silhouette moving around, unable to sleep just like me. It was surreal, watching myself across the distance, like looking at a ghost of who I might have been. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Can't sleep either. Want to talk? I looked at his window. He was holding up his phone, waving. I went outside in my bathrobe and met him in his backyard. We sat in his lawn chairs, 2 identical men in the darkness. How did you really get here? I asked. You said quantum tunneling, but that's science fiction. I died, he said simply. In the accident. Flatlined for 4 minutes. When they brought me back, something was different. I could see things, sense things, other timelines, running parallel to mine. I became obsessed, spent everything I had researching, experimenting. And I found a way to cross over. What way? You have to die, really die, and then choose to come back in a different timeline instead of your own. It's a one-way trip. I can never go home. I stared at him. You died to come here? I stopped my heart, medically supervised, and in those moments between life and death I jumped, landed here. 3 months ago. I've been watching you since then, waiting for the right moment to make contact. Why not warn me sooner? Because you wouldn't have believed me. You needed to see me face to face, and it needed to be close to the date, close enough that you'd take it seriously. I wanted to ask more, but then I saw something that made my blood freeze. In other James's hand was a syringe. What's that? He looked down at it, then at me. Insurance, just in case. In case of what? In case you try to leave tomorrow. In case you don't listen. This will keep you sedated. Keep you safe. I didn't survive death and cross timelines just to watch you throw it away. I stood up. You're going to drug me? If I have to save your life. This is insane. You're insane. I'm you, James, which means you'd do exactly the same thing in my position. He stood too, and we faced each other, mirror images in the moonlight. You're going to try to test it tomorrow. I know you. You're going to think you can outsmart fate. Drive to that intersection, prove me wrong. You don't know that. Yes, I do, because that's what I would do. That's what 17 other versions of us did, and they all died. He stepped closer. Please, trust me. Stay home tomorrow. For Rachel. For Emma. For all the versions of us that never got this chance. December 15th arrived cold and grey. I called in sick to work, citing a stomach bug. Rachel was concerned but accepted it. Emma was excited to have Daddy home. We can build a fort, she said, bouncing on my bed. Not today, sweetie. Daddy needs to rest. I spent the morning watching the clock. Other James had texted me hourly. Still there? Don't leave. 5 more hours. At noon, I got a call from my boss. James, I need you to come in. Client emergency. The Peterson account is falling apart. I'm sick. I know, but this is critical. No one else can handle it, just for an hour. I looked at the clock. 12:15 p.m. The accident was at 5:47 p.m. I had time. I'll think about it. James, if you don't come in, we lose a $5 million contract. Your contract. I hung up. Immediately, my phone buzzed. Other James, don't. Whatever they're offering, it's not worth it. How do you know I got a call? Because I got the same call. My timeline, my December 15th. I went to the office. Just for an hour. But there was traffic. An accident on the highway. I took the detour, and at 5:47 I was at the intersection. I felt sick. The detour led to the crash? No. The crash would have happened anyway. The universe wanted me there at that time. It manufactured circumstances to make it happen. The call, the traffic, the detour, all of it to put me in the right place at the right time to die. So if I go to work, something will delay you. Keep you there until the exact moment you need to be at that intersection. Please, James, don't give fate the opportunity. I didn't go. I stayed home, watching TV with Emma, pretending everything was normal. Rachel came home early, around 4 p.m. You're still home, she said, surprised. Told you I was sick. She felt my forehead. You don't have a fever. James, what's really going on? Nothing. I just needed a day. At 5:30 p.m., 17 minutes before the accident, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find a police officer standing there. James Holland? Yes? I'm sorry to inform you that there's been an incident at your workplace. We need you to come with us immediately. What kind of incident? There's been a fire. We're evacuating the building and accounting for all employees. Your boss said you called in sick, but we need to verify everyone's location. It was 5:35 p.m., 12 minutes until the accident. If I got in a car now... My phone rang. Other James. Don't go. It's a trap. There's a fire at my office. No, there isn't. I'm watching the building on traffic cameras. No smoke, no fire trucks. That's not a real cop. I looked at the officer more carefully. His uniform looked right. His badge looked legitimate. But something in his eyes was wrong. Empty. Mechanical. I need to verify something first, I told him. I called my office. It rang and rang. Finally, someone answered. Peterson Consulting. This is James Holland. Is there a fire? A fire? No. Why? I hung up and looked at the officer. There's no fire. He smiled. It wasn't a human smile. Doesn't matter. You still need to come with me. He reached for my arm. I jerked back. I'm not going anywhere. Yes, he said, his voice changing, becoming layered with multiple tones. You are. You have an appointment. 5:47 p.m., the intersection of Maple and Vine. You will be there. I slammed the door and locked it. Through the window, I watched the officer stand motionless on my porch. Then, at exactly 5:40 p.m., he turned and walked away, vanished around the corner. Rachel came downstairs. Who was that? Wrong house. Other James was suddenly at my back door, pounding. I let him in. It started, he gasped. The convergence. The universe is trying to correct the timeline. Keep you inside. 7 more minutes. We went to the basement. Emma was confused. Rachel was demanding answers. But other James and I just sat on the concrete floor, watching the clock on his phone. 5:45 p.m. 5:46 p.m. 5:47 p.m. Somewhere across town, at the intersection of Maple and Vine, did a semi-truck run a red light. Did it crash into empty air, into the ghost of where I should have been? 5:48 p.m. Other James started crying. You made it. You're alive. You're past the moment. But I felt it, like a rubber band snapping, like the universe correcting something fundamental. And I knew, we both knew, that this wasn't over. That night, other James collapsed. I found him on his kitchen floor gasping for air, blood coming from his nose, his ears. What's happening? Timeline, rejection, he choked out. I changed too much, saved you. The universe is pushing back. How do I stop it? You can't. This is the price. One of us had to die today. I shifted the target from you to me. No, there has to be another way. There isn't. He grabbed my hand. His grip was already weakening. Listen, you surviving means 17 timelines converge here. You become an anchor point. Others will come. Other versions of you. Some will try to help, some will try to take your place. You have to be ready. I don't understand. You will, when they arrive, when you see what I've really done. His eyes were losing focus. I didn't just save you, James. I made you the center, the prime timeline. Every other version will be drawn here now, and they'll all want what you have. Your life, your family, your existence. Why would you do that? Because, he coughed, blood spattering his lips. Because I'm not from another timeline, I'm from this one. I'm you from next year. I came back to save myself, but crossing through time, not dimensions, and now causality is collapsing. He died at 6:23 p.m. in my arms, wearing my face, and I understood. He wasn't from a parallel timeline. He was from my future, a future where I died tomorrow, no, today, and somehow came back to stop it. But by saving myself, he'd created a paradox. How can you save yourself if you died before you could travel back? The answer, you can't. One version has to cease to exist. I called the police, reported finding my neighbor dead. They asked for ID. I gave them other James's wallet. James Holland, the officer read. This is your name too? Coincidence. We laughed about it when he moved in. They took the body, asked routine questions, left. Rachel found me sitting in the dark. What happened? The neighbor died. Heart attack. That's terrible. Did you know him well? Better than anyone, I whispered. That night I heard knocking. I went to the door. Through the peephole I saw myself, another me, younger this time, maybe early 20s. James, the young me called. I know you're in there. I know what happened. I'm from 2015. I'm here to warn you. Tomorrow you're going to... I didn't open the door, because I understood now. Other James had been right. I was the anchor. And every version of me that had ever existed, every timeline where I'd made different choices, they were all collapsing toward this point, all coming home, all wanting to survive. Over the next week, 4 more versions of me appeared. Different ages, different timelines, all claiming they'd come to warn me, save me, help me. But I knew the truth. They'd come to replace me. The young me from 2015 tried to break in. I called the police. They arrested him for trespassing, but his fingerprints matched mine. His DNA matched mine. The police were baffled. An older version, maybe 50, approached me at the grocery store. I'm you from 2045. I've come back to prevent a terrible mistake. Which mistake? Trusting the others. They're not all trying to help. Some are trying to take your place, become you, live your life. How do I know you're not one of them? He smiled sadly. You don't. But I know things. Emma's middle name is Grace. Rachel has a scar on her ankle from falling off a horse when she was 12. Your first kiss was with Sarah Chen in 7th grade behind the gym. Any version of me would know those things. What do you want? To warn you. In my timeline, I let them in. Trusted the wrong version, and he killed me, took my place. Rachel never knew. Emma never knew. I was just replaced, and I watched from wherever we go when we die, unable to warn them. How are you here if you died? Because you're the anchor, the prime. We're all drawn to you now, even the dead ones, especially the dead ones. He vanished before my eyes, not walked away, vanished, like he'd never been solid at all. That night I told Rachel everything, showed her the police reports on the young me, the death certificate for other James that matched my name, the photos of all the different versions. She listened, and when I finished, she said quietly, "How do I know you're the real James?" The question broke me. What? If there are multiple versions of you, how do I know you're my husband? How do I know you're not one of the replacements? Because I'm me. I've always been me. Prove it. I couldn't. That was the horrible truth. I had no way to prove I was the original. For all I knew, I was a copy who believed he was real. Rachel moved herself and Emma to her mother's house. "Until you figure this out," she said. "Until I know who you really are." I was alone in the house, and every night more versions appeared, some begging, some threatening, some just watching. I started to doubt my own memories. Was I really the original James Holland? Or was I a copy from some other timeline, convinced of my authenticity? The older version appeared again, the one from 2045. It's getting worse, isn't it? The doubt. How do I make it stop? You can't. The paradox is growing. More timelines collapsing. Soon there will be hundreds of us, thousands, all trying to exist in the same space. The universe can't sustain it. What happens then? Annihilation. All versions of us cease to exist. Past, present, future will be erased from reality. Rachel will have no husband, Emma will have no father. It'll be like James Holland never existed at all. How do I stop it? You have to close the loop. End the paradox at its source, which is the moment you survived. December 15th, 5:47 p.m. You should have died, that's the fixed point. By surviving, you created a split, and that split is tearing reality apart. You're saying I have to die? I'm saying one version of you has to die, and it has to be the anchor, the prime. You. I laughed bitterly. I fought to survive, and now you're telling me survival is killing me. Killing all of us. Every version. The only way to save the James Hollands that exist in stable timelines is to sacrifice the one in the broken timeline. You. He handed me a gun. Tomorrow, 5:47 p.m. The same moment you should have died. You end it, and the paradox collapses. All the other versions return to their proper timelines. Reality stabilizes. And I just cease to exist? Yes, but Rachel and Emma will be fine. The universe will fill in the gap. They'll remember you died in the accident 3 years ago, just like it was supposed to happen. They'll have grieved and moved on. They'll be okay. I looked at the gun. There has to be another way. There isn't. I've tried everything across 30 years. This is the only solution. He left me alone with the weapon and the terrible choice. December 15th came again, 1 year after I'd survived, the anniversary of my death that never happened. I sat in my living room with the gun. 5:30 p.m., 17 minutes left. Rachel called. "James, I wanted to hear your voice. I don't know if you're really you, but I miss you. Emma misses you. I miss you too. Are you okay?" "I will be. Soon." 5:40 p.m. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find a version of myself I'd never seen before. He looked exactly like me, but his eyes were different. Ancient. Tired. "Don't do it," he said. "Who are you?" "I'm the first James Holland, the original, from the prime timeline that existed before any of this started. And I'm here to tell you the old version lied." "What?" "The gun doesn't fix anything. It just transfers the anchor to whoever convinced you to use it. The version from 2045, he's not trying to help, he's trying to become prime. By making you kill yourself, he takes your place as the center point." "How do I know you're telling the truth?" "You don't. That's the hell of this. But think about it. Why would reality need you dead to stabilize? That doesn't make sense. The paradox exists because we're all fighting for the same spot. But if we stop fighting, if we accept that we can coexist, that's impossible. Is it? Or have we just been told it's impossible by versions who want to be the only one?" 5:45 p.m. What do I do? The first version smiled. You choose. Keep fighting, keep dying, keep the cycle going, or accept the paradox. Let all versions exist. Become not a singular person, but a collective. All James Hollands, all timelines, all existing simultaneously. That sounds like insanity, or evolution, becoming something more than human, something that exists across time and space. 5:47 p.m. The moment arrived, and I made my choice. I put the gun down. I choose to live, all of me, every version, every timeline. The first version nodded. Good. Welcome to the collective, James. We've been waiting for you. And I felt it. All the other versions all at once, their memories, their lives, their choices, all flooding into me. I was the James who died at 23 in a car crash. I was the James who lived to 90 and died peacefully. I was the James who became a doctor, a teacher, a criminal, a hero. I was all of them, and they were all me, the collective. Rachel came home to find me standing in the living room, surrounded by my other selves, dozens of us, all ages, all timelines. James, she whispered. All of us spoke in unison. We are James, all of him, every possibility. She backed away, terrified. This is impossible. Many impossible things are real now, we said. The question is, can you love us? All of us? She looked at each version. Young James. Old James. The one who became a soldier. The one who became an artist. All the lives I'd lived across infinite timelines. I married one man, she said. Not an army. We are still one man. Just more. Over the following weeks, the collective stabilized. We learned to function as a singular consciousness across multiple bodies. When one slept, others stayed awake. When one worked, others cared for Emma. We were the perfect father, the perfect husband, because we had lived every version of those roles. But Rachel struggled. How do you kiss your husband when there are 20 of him? How do you have a private conversation when he's always present in multiple bodies? She left again, this time for good, took Emma, filed for divorce. I love you, she said. The you I married. But I don't know who that is anymore. And I can't live with this. The collective understood. We'd known, across all our timelines, all our experiences, that this was a possible outcome. Probable even. We let her go. Because that's what love meant. Letting her choose her own path, even if it led away from us. But we kept watch. All versions of us. Across all timelines. Making sure Rachel and Emma were safe, were happy, were loved from a distance. And sometimes, late at night, Emma would see one of us standing outside her window, a different version each time, and she'd wave, not scared, just acknowledging. Daddy's watching, she'd tell Rachel. All of him, Rachel would reply sadly. The collective grew. More versions arrived. More timelines collapsed into our nexus. We were becoming something unprecedented. A singular consciousness spread across infinite possibilities. And we wondered, were we still human, or had we become something else entirely? The answer, we realized, didn't matter. We existed. That was enough. 5 years after the convergence, the collective numbered in the hundreds. We'd stopped counting. New versions arrived daily, drawn to the anchor point. We'd built a compound, an entire neighborhood of houses, all occupied by us. Different ages, different timelines, but all James Holland. We shared memories, shared experiences, shared existence. Rachel had remarried, a kind man named Robert. Emma called him Dad. It hurt, watching it happen across the distance. But we understood. She needed stability, singularity. One father, not hundreds. We'd become something else, a hive mind, a collective consciousness. We could see across timelines now, watch other versions of ourselves who hadn't converged yet. And we'd learned something terrible. The convergence was spreading. Other people were becoming anchor points, other individuals experiencing what I had, other collectives forming. Sarah Chen, my first kiss, had become a collective in Seattle. 200 versions of her, all existing simultaneously. My college roommate Marcus had converged in Boston. 70 versions and growing. The phenomenon was spreading like a virus, and we didn't know if it could be stopped. The oldest version of me, the one from 2087, from a timeline 60 years in the future, had a theory. "This is evolution," he said, "humanity's next step. We're shedding the limitations of singular existence, becoming something that can survive the eventual heat death of the universe by existing across all timelines simultaneously. Or, said the version of me who'd studied physics, we're destroying reality, creating so many paradoxes that the universe itself will collapse." We didn't know which was true, maybe both, maybe neither, but we existed, and we would continue to exist across all timelines, in all possibilities, for as long as consciousness itself endured. I am James Holland, we are James Holland, and we are infinite. Last week I saw another me moving in next door, younger, frightened. He'd just survived December 15th for the first time. I knocked on his door. He answered, already knowing who I was because he'd seen my face in the mirror every day of his life. "I know this is going to sound crazy," I said, "but we need to talk." He stepped aside to let me in. "I know, you're me, from another timeline." "Not quite," I said. "I'm you from the collective, and I'm here to give you a choice. Join us, become more than one. Or resist, stay singular, and watch as reality fragments around you. What happens if I resist? Eventually, you converge anyway. They all do. It's just a matter of time. The question is whether you choose it or it chooses you." He looked at me with my own eyes, seeing his future, seeing what he would become. "How many are there?" he asked. "How many of us?" I smiled. "Come outside, I'll show you." We walked into the compound, and he saw them, us, all of us. Hundreds of James Hollands, all ages, all timelines, all existing, all alive. "Welcome home," we said in unison. "Welcome to the collective." He started to cry, not from fear, from relief, because he wasn't alone anymore, would never be alone again. "I thought I was going crazy," he whispered. "You're not crazy," we assured him. "You're just becoming more." That night, he joined us, became us, and we became him. The collective grew by one more, and somewhere across infinite timelines, other versions of James Holland were making the same choice, joining, converging, becoming the collective. How many of me exist across all timelines? Infinite. How many have converged? Hundreds, soon thousands. How many are left? Infinite minus hundreds, which is still infinite. We are James Holland, and we are inevitable. The stranger next door is me, from another timeline, and he says, "I die tomorrow." But I didn't die. I multiplied, I expanded, I became legion, and now I'm coming for the rest of me. One timeline at a time.